All right, everybody, welcome back to Sporting with Smitty. I am your host, Smitty. Now, that was an exciting game for Christmas Eve. I know by halftime, a lot of people were saying that it was boring and it was probably a terrible game. I know a couple of my buddies said it was, but it turned out to be a really good game. Unfortunately, it got close in the very end, which really shouldn't have. But let's get into it. Starting with the Patriots, again, another decent performance from Bailey Zappi. 25 of 33, 256 yards, and 2 touchdowns with 0 picks. But unfortunately, he did have that fumble on the very first play. Ezekiel Elliott had himself a good game. 12 carries, 27 yards, obviously no touchdowns. Kevin Harris had a couple runs, 7 for 21. There was an end around for Tyquan Thornton where he got a reception, or not a reception, a carry for 9 yards. So, and Zappi even ran for a couple yards. Not the best game rushing the football, but you know what? At least set up somewhat for some play action and some passes deep down the field. Now, the receiving core, missing obviously one of our best weapons in Hunter Henry this week, who's out. But let me tell you, the other guys stepped up. Demario Douglas again having another outstanding game, showing that honestly he is the future of this receiving core. He's the future leader of this receiving core, and you need to build an offense that fits his skill set. You really do, because anything under 1,000 yards next season, I would consider a disappointment for this kid. He has shown so much potential, and the record he broke, which you see in the line below on the scroll, he broke the rookie record for most catches and most yards for a rookie receiver under Bill Belichick. That tells you how important he has been and how talented he was. I mean, he's a 6th-round draft pick, and he's doing this much damage. I mean, he already has, I think, 47 catches on the year and over 500 yards. He has been an outstanding player for the Patriots this year. And when we get him the ball, something happens. Something great happens. Yeah, so he broke Deion Branch's record for catches in a season, which I believe was 42. Now, Pop Douglas, has now 44 catches and 517 yards. Unfortunately, he's still searching for that one touchdown, and I hope he gets it at least before the season. Obviously, this upcoming game is going to be rough, but we'll get into that. Now, Devontae Parker. Round of applause. That man dominated today. He had huge catches down the stretch. He had a big catch down the sideline that led up to our first score of the game, and then he had that big catch for a first down on the last drive that really got us into a very good position to kick a field goal for Ryland. I mean, man. Obviously, Ezekiel Elliott, he's been a monster this year. I know he's playing for a bad team. We're a bad team, but I will say this. He's been an excellent pass catcher from the backfield, so throwing it to him in the flat, throw those short little routes. He's been excellent. Obviously, he's not the dominant runner he was with the Cowboys his first few years in the league, but still, he has been excellent for the New England Patriots. He's been a very good weapon. I recently saw the last few weeks he's top 10 in fantasy points for running backs. Impressive. Excuse me. Jalen Reagor, another good game for him. He made a couple nice catches down the sideline, his longest catch being 28 yards. 2 catches on 2 targets, not big, but very good. Farrell Brown made a couple of big plays, 2 targets, 2 catches for him as well. Again, I think he's also another future cog player in this offense because he's an excellent pass blocker. He is an excellent blocker. He knows how to do it. It reminds me of Gronkowski and how great he was at blocking. Obviously, I'm not comparing the talent here. I'm just simply saying Farrell Brown is an excellent blocker and definitely a piece that you got to bring back next year, especially if you don't re-sign Henry or Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki, he had a nice catch today for a touchdown in the back of the end zone, moving around, trying to find a way to get open. Very good player today, very good play. Tyquan Thornton, he only had a catch for 11 yards. I think it was a screen pass. It was a good play, But obviously, he's been on the injury report for the last few weeks, so obviously they weren't going to probably try to make him the focal point of the game plan here. Now, my goodness, the defense, I mean, honestly, outside of that third quarter, which they were kind of screwed on, that kind of really gave a little charge to the offense of Denver. That deep pass to Mims, I don't know how that was named a rule to catch even after the challenge. I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand what a catch is anymore. It's very hard to distinguish what a catch is anymore in the NFL, especially when a ball like that obviously hits the ground and they say, oh, the ground forced it. I don't get that. It's like you're picking and choosing parts of the rules that you're going to follow here. If it hits the ground, it's not a catch. At least that's what it's been for as long as I can remember. If it hits the ground, it's not a catch. Ridiculous. But outside of that, outside of those the drives in the fourth quarter, the defense was on point. It kept us in a game. It kept us in the game when our offense was flat coming out of this game. I mean, 3 points at halftime. That's all you need to know. It was honestly ugly for the offense in the first half. It really was. This defense, I mean, from the first play where Zappi fumbled the football, they brought it all the way down to, I think, about around the 10-yard line. And, I mean, we stopped them on fourth down. We held them. I mean, it was unbelievable. Obviously, our offense didn't do anything with that, but still, that shows that the defense was definitely on point today. Christian Barmore, man, I mean, was that Richard Seymour? I mean, like, the fact that he was just a wrecking ball today. He was in the backfield constantly, 8 tackles total, 5 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for losses. I mean, and he was able to get in on the quarterback and give him a couple of knocks. 4 hits today for him. I mean, damn, what a game. What a game. It's finally coming. I know a lot of people have given Belichick shit for the last few drafts, but I mean, Christian Barmore, excellent pickup. Excellent pickup. He has been fantastic on the D-line. He has been the anchor that has given us the best rushing defense in the NFL by far. I mean, I think we've only allowed over 100 yards rushing in 3 or 4 games this season. And I mean, outside of that, our run defense has been rock solid. We haven't allowed over 100 yards on the ground since the Washington game back in November. So, I mean, that should tell you how dominant our run game was. And we weren't facing any slouches either coming up on that schedule. I mean, you were facing Saquon Barkley. You were facing Jonathan Taylor. You were facing Austin Eckler. I mean, just great running backs. And we were able to shut it down. I mean, Austin Eckler, I think, averaged less than 2 yards a carry. I mean, that's impressive. Juwan Bentley, again, another guy that I'm looking for, hopefully, that he's still on the roster next year. Our defense is pretty solid. I mean, with Judon coming back and obviously Christian Gonzalez coming back, that gives us our offense. I mean, we could focus heavily on offense in the draft this year. Our defense is rock solid. And the only players that there's a chance we might lose are Kyle Duggar, obviously huge, and then Josh Uche. So, yes, there's two key players in this defense, but with the amount of money we have in free agency, I mean, obviously we're capable of filling those gaps and those holes. But I mean, there's so many guys on this defense that are definitely the future of this defense and the future of this team, and holding it down until we finally get the offense going again. So, I mean, Miles Bryant, he's had his mistakes, but still, that play he made on the last Bronco drive, shortly before, around less than 2 minutes to go, on a screen pass, he was already in the backfield. He hit him immediately, and he was a tackle for a loss. At that point, their drive was over. So, because Russell threw back-to-back incompletions downfield. So he made a key play in a big moment, a clutch play in a big moment. And he's been taking the punt returning duty since Marcus Jones went down. Another guy that's coming back next year that's going to be rock solid, Marcus Jones. Dietrich Wise, again, he's making plays, getting in the backfield. Jelani Tavai, for me, is one of the MVPs on this defense. It's him, Barmore, and then I got to go into the secondary, and that's got to be damn it. Jaleel Peppers, sorry. Brain fart there. But I mean, Jaleel Peppers, he has been unbelievable for this defense. He has played in so many positions. He's been able to get INTs. He's been able to lurk on the defensive side of the ball. He's been able to blitz the quarterback. I mean, he's been able to get deep into coverage and make some good plays. I have no complaints. I mean, a lot of people gave him shit for his really bad point in the Giants. But, I mean, the Giants were not good at that time. They were very poorly coached. So, you can't really blame him too much, honestly. But I have to say, since he came to New England, he has been one of the biggest steals that we've ever had in free agency, obviously other than Judon. So I'm very, very excited to see what else he can do. Maybe he can take over excuse me, that role that Devin McCourty had where he was the leader of the defense. We might be seeing that future captain of the defense next year in Peppers. So, outstanding play for the defense overall. And then, obviously we didn't have any INTs in this game. That's okay. That happens. We were still able to force turnovers, force a couple fumbles. They fell on it, but we were still able to force the ball out. So, another very big positive of this game. Now, obviously the kicking game. Obviously, I have no complaints for Bryce Baringer. He's definitely one of the best punters in football right now. Definitely a very good pick in the draft. He had 7 punts. 3 of them were inside the 20. So, he, like I said, he's been able to really kick the ball. And, I mean, he's had a lot of opportunities with how bad our offense has been. Now, Chad Ryland. He needs to go. He needs to go. Now, I know what everybody's going to say. Hey, he just had the game-winning kick. But let's be honest with ourselves. When he stepped on the field, I know everybody said, oh, God, here we go. Here we go. I know I said it. I was expecting this bum to miss. But for some reason, a Christmas miracle happened, and he kicks a 56-yarder for the win. And being in Denver, which means you can kick a lot farther field goals, that field goal would have been good for if he was kicking a 60-yard field goal. I mean, what a kick. What a kick. Also, I have to give a special shout-out, a very, very special shout-out to Sean Payton and his incompetence in coaching in the final minutes of this game. Patriots are on their last drive. Obviously, we run 2 plays, rushes. Obviously, probably looking like we're playing for overtime. And then Sean Payton calls a timeout when we had, I believe, 2 timeouts. 2 or 1. But calling a timeout on that 3rd down, I don't know how you can do that. I don't understand it, because immediately after we got back on the field, we saw Zappe throwing it down the field for a big game. I think it was to Devontae Parker as well, for his big play of the game. I mean, thank you, because that set up the Patriots to run a couple more plays, call their timeouts, and be able to get down the field in a hurry. So, thank you, Sean Payton, for not letting this go into overtime, because I would have been very, very nervous heading into overtime of this game, because we were flat on defense. Even though we had that one stop on defense, I was still just, I was worried. I was very worried. Now, for the offense, for my grades for this game, so for the offense, I have to give them a C. I know what you're saying. It's we scored 26 points. Yeah, we did. We did. But if we were playing a better team, this game would have been over at halftime. That's just a fact. Starting from play one, a fumble that gets returned into the red zone for the Broncos. We're only lucky that their offense is kind of irrelevant to actually doing anything in the red zone. Even though, yes, Russell has had a great season this year, but still, can you really honestly say that you trust Russell Wilson in that situation right now in Denver? Seahawks Russell, that's a different story. But Denver Russell Wilson, no, you can't trust him. So, against any other team in even the AFC, that's a touchdown or at least a field goal. So, and then again, just how badly we struggled in the first half to make plays. It was very, very, very frustrating to watch. I mean, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 offensive drives. One of them was a field goal, and then the rest of them were either punts or a missed field goal or a turnover. So one field goal in that many drives against a competent team, that tells you all you need to know. That this team is just not capable of keeping up with the top dogs of the AFC right now. So I will give them a C. I will applaud Zappy. He played a good game today. He's still, to me, he's still an average quarterback. He's an average quarterback. Yes, he shows confidence at times, and you see it, just resonate within the offense, that they're catching on and bringing in that energy themselves, and they're doing what they can with it. But I still don't believe in Zappy right now. I don't. He's still making rookie mistakes. He's still missing throws that you need to make as a professional quarterback. But did they turn it on? I mean, 2 touchdowns on the first 3 possessions of the second half to go up 16-7, and then the mistake by the Denver return team fumbling the ball right at the goal line. Hey, I'm more than happy about that. More than happy. That's why I give special teams at least a B. The reason why it's a B, those missed kicks, man. We can't have those missed kicks. The kicker, there are 2 important positions right now in the NFL. There really are. There's the backup quarterback, as we've seen this year, is huge for any team that's in contention and has an injury. Prime example, Minnesota. Another example, Jacksonville. You need backup quarterbacks that are competent and they're ready to play right now. And hell, Indianapolis, another big example. They're fighting for a playoff spot right now with Gardner Minshew. So, one of the most important positions in football right now, the backup quarterback, and then the kicker. The kicker is very, very important in today's game because you need those kickers. Kicks are not guaranteed anymore. We've seen, unless your name is Justin Tucker, no field goal is guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. So you need to have a very good kicker to be able to kind of still be able to get into position where you can kick a field goal from a long way out to put some points on the board no matter what and still put pressure on the other team. And I can't tell you how many times Ryland has missed kicks like that. He cost us one game against New York, which we should have won against the Giants, but we lost 10-7. It's just, it's honestly, you need to have a kicker, and I just don't think this guy is it. So I'm going to give special teams a B because of the missed kicks. The missed extra point, killer. And as we saw, it definitely played a big role into the comeback because they're down 24-7. They're not going for those two 2-point conversions. So they score there. They're just going to have to go 24-14. Okay, so now they need to score on 2 possessions. So that, I mean, and then that second drive, okay, it scored a touchdown. 24-21. It's not a tie game. So, I mean, that's what I was nervous about, was those missed kicks coming back to bite us in the butt. Unfortunately, it did. But, hey, he made up for it on that last kick. Man, just what a game. The defense, I'm giving them an A. I know they struggled in the fourth quarter. Honestly, I'd say that's bad coaching, because the plays we were calling literally just opened up. It literally just opened up the middle of the field for their short passes to where Russell was just hitting them, and it was making 7-yard gains. I mean, he was giving them first downs consistently. And I honestly thought we were tanking. I was thinking, okay, the offense, the plays we're calling in this fourth quarter are just terrible. The defensive play calling is also just god-awful. Are we tanking? Are we trying to blow this game? That's how I felt at the time. Especially when we were playing into overtime. We were giving them that chance. So, I'll give the defense an A, though. I will give them an A, because consistently they brought pressure to the quarterback. They were clamping down on the receivers downfield. I mean, Jerry Jeudy only had a few catches, which is, I mean, for him, a guy of his caliber, very, very impressive. I mean, he only had 3 catches for 44 yards. And then in front of him, you had Marvin Mims, which outside of that, honestly, I'd say BS catch that hit the ground, he had somewhere underneath 30 yards, close to 20-some odd yards. So you gotta give it to this defense. They're playing better and better. It's just this team needs to focus on offense in the offseason. We need a quarterback. We need a confident quarterback that just shows that he can take the field and he owns it. He owns it. He can get the team ready to go. He can show his confidence, be poised consistently, because Zappy doesn't show that at times, and he can make big plays with his legs and with his arm. Like the guy from LSU, might I say. I mean, Jaden Daniels. That's a guy that I'm hoping for, praying for, that we get this year in the draft. I do not want Drake May. That guy looks like another Mitch Trubisky. We don't want that. We've already struck out on a pick in the draft with Mac Jones. We can't do it again. This draft for the New England Patriots is the most important draft in franchise history to this point, in my opinion. Because if we strike out on a quarterback again, that's it. We're going back to the dark ages. I've never seen the dark ages. I wasn't alive for them for this franchise at the time. So the early 90s, or going back to the early 80s, the 70s. I wasn't alive, so I did not see those dark moments of this franchise where they were really, really terrible. Excuse me. So, we need to focus on offense. We need to make sure that we're looking at players differently the way we're scouting. We have to change our strategy when scouting these players. We need to. Because we cannot strike out on a quarterback again. We cannot strike out on a receiver again. We need another playmaker that could create a struggle for the other team's defense, so they can only focus on one guy. Oh God, they got to focus on Pop Douglas, or oh God, we got to focus on this kid, like Neighbors, or for example. I know there's a low chance of us getting him, but still, or Marvin Harrison Jr. We need to add speed and quickness with our offense, and we don't have it right now. No disrespect to Juju, but he's slow as shit. And no disrespect to Devontae Parker. He's a big receiver who can make big catches. But outside of that, he's not a quick guy. We only have 2 quick guys on this offense, Pop Douglas and Tyquan Thornton. But we're still figuring out that we're still developing this kid into a decent NFL receiver right now. Now, what's next week? Unfortunately, it is a very, very tough game. I do not see us winning it. We're heading to Buffalo to play the Bills. The Bills are one of the best teams in the AFC right now, besides Baltimore, obviously. But they're the second best team in the AFC right now. Or actually, the third best team in the AFC. I'll give Miami credit. So they're the third best team in the AFC right now. They're hitting their stride. They've been playing very good as of recently. I mean, they kicked the living crap out of the Dallas Cowboys. They were putting up a very good fight against Philly, in that hostile territory. Again, solid. Their defense has always been good. The problem with them is the inconsistencies of their offense with Josh Allen. But in these last few weeks, you can finally see their offense clicking at the right time. That's how you win Super Bowls. That's how it was for the Patriots during their dynasty in the early years. Their offense would start slow in September, kind of somewhat figure it out in October, and then once November hit, we were off and running. Example, the 2014 Patriots. After that ass whooping we took on Monday Night Football to the Kansas City Chiefs, we thought that it was over. We thought that Tom Brady was done. Obviously, 7 years later, he wasn't done. In 7 years, he wins 4 Super Bowls and gets to another one. So, this is going to be a very tough game. Now, do I believe we can possibly beat the spread? Yes. The spread is at 13 right now. For the Bills, obviously, which I think it's a little much. I mean, our defense is better than the average defense in the NFL right now. Our offense, obviously, below average, but still that defense is able to force some pressure on the quarterback. They're able to get some big hits. They're able to force some balls loose. And when the time comes, obviously against the Bills, which we showed early in that game, we can get turnovers. But everybody's got to be perfect in this game. Everybody has to be ready. You need to watch Stephon Diggs deep. You need to watch Gabe Davis deep. You need to watch Dawson Knox or Dalton Kincaid or whatever his name is. You need to watch them in those short passes because that's what kills you. That's those little plays that they make that slowly puts the game in their favor. So I'm very thrilled with this win, even though it kind of hurt our draft position. I'm kind of happy that it did somewhat, only because I don't know about Caleb Williams, and I definitely do not want Drake May. I don't understand why everybody's obsessed with this kid. He's had after his ridiculous one-year wonder last year, this year he was average. And I don't know if anybody watched North Carolina in the last few months. They were not good. They were not good at all. And they had some rough games, and Drake May had a lot of rough games against opponents that really they shouldn't be that bad against. So, that's my opinion on it. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the draft this year. Who do you think we should take in the first round, first picks? What do you think? What do you guys think about the game next week? How do you feel about it? Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Go Pats.